Who doesn't love an amazing fantasy story? With so many wonderful fantasy anime to choose from, it can be tough for viewers to determine which ones to prioritize. Some stick out from the crowd, while others simply accept the label of being underrated and blend in. Well, worry not. Today, I'm bringing you some of the underrated shows which got lost in the crowd of big giants. So, without further ado, I present to you Top 10 Fantasy Anime with an Overpowered Protagonist. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Also, click that notification bell so that you can stay updated whenever I upload a new video. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Coming in at number 10, we have an unnecessarily long title that I seriously don't understand. Yes, you guessed it. Suppose a kid from the last dungeon boonies moved to a starter town. Aside from jokes, the story follows Lloyd, a young adventurer who only wants to get stronger. His strategy? Travel to the capital to learn his actual power, despite the fact that he was raised as a weakling. So Lloyd leaves his homeland, which, incidentally, is located just adjacent to the most hazardous dungeon. He may not consider himself to be strong, but he'll soon discover that there's even more of a difference between him and other beginning adventurers. Now, first things first, this is a lighthearted comedy. Don't go in expecting deep storytelling and grand adventures because there's a chance you might get disappointed. Last Dungeon is your typical fantasy anime, with a unique twist of also being a gag show, which eventually results in having no distinct plot. That's fine, because it's more of a slapstick comedy than anything else. For someone who loves an anime to chill out with, Last Dungeon is a joyful ride that never takes itself too seriously. This lighthearted series is full of enjoyable characters and ongoing layers of comedy. Now, the question is, how good is this anime? Well, if you have watched fantasy and overpowered protagonist anime before, this will be a treat for you. Coming in at number 9, we have Concrete Revolution. What if superhumans existed? What if every superhuman existed at the same time and in the same place? Well, anime involving superhumans is nothing new, and most of them are quite amazing in terms of narrative and animation. In this anime, it's not just a question of what if, it's a reality. Story follows Jiro Hitoyoshi, a member of the Superhuman Bureau who maintains track of superhuman acts. His duty is to locate and approach superhumans, and supervise and protect them. Now, there's a difference between a poorly written story and a disorganized story. We need to make this clear that the Concrete Revolution is a disorganized one. It's definitely not poorly written, since the premise feels intriguing. It's just that the anime fails to present a coherent story that confuses many fans. One of the aspects of this anime that I like the most is its episodic adventure. What I mean is that we, as viewers, will go on a little roller coaster ride trying to fully grasp the events of this plot. Sometimes, I don't understand why people complain about popular anime but still watch it, while leaving anime like Concrete Revolution in the dark. In the end, the anime may appear to be somewhat weird, and it really is. However, what lies underneath is a great deal of execution and development. Coming in at number 8, we have Worldbreak, Aria of Curse for a Holy Swordsman. Moroha Haimura, our unexpected hero, has recently enrolled at Akame Academy. There, he quickly learns to channel the magical powers of his 2 previous lives, which he must utilize to fight wicked beasts. Moroha's trouble with ladies is an understatement, but that won't stop him from understanding the secrets of his previous lives in order to help defend the fate of the world. Now, for the most part, the series revolves around Maroha having to deal with certain issues coming from other high-ranked students who are somehow threatened by his power. Secondly, the show also has a few episodes dealing with the fighting monsters, which makes the show really feel like two separate parts glued into one. That doesn't mean Worldbreak is terrible. However, it's heavily generic, with elements we've seen from different magic-oriented series, which are sadly done better. The concept of drawing on memories and abilities from past lives is interesting, and this anime did a pretty good job of handling this concept. Overall, this show is a roller coaster of highs and lows. It is extremely wonderful when it is at one of its peaks, but when it delves into its depths, you'll question why you're even watching this anime. Coming in at number 7, we have Katana Maidens Toji no Miko. If there is an anime from 2018 that I consider to be underrated, it would be Katana Maidens. The anime follows a group of high school students who are skilled in kenjutsu. These students are Toji, and they are training to be part of the police force that is called upon to exorcise creatures known as Aradama. While the premise isn't new or unique, the way it's presented makes it entertaining to watch. The pacing is also a major plus in this anime. I appreciate the fact that the anime doesn't try to rush things and instead takes the time to tell the story properly. With 24 episodes, Katana Maidens has ample opportunity to establish its characters. Fortunately, that is exactly what it does, and it does it quite well. Allow me to get right to the point. If you think Katana Maidens is just another school tournament anime, then you're completely wrong. By the end of the first episode, the whole school tournament plot has been thrown out the window and replaced with an action-adventure style story with a bit of fantasy thrown in. However, the art and early character designs appear quirky in the early episodes, but the unraveling mystery and writing manages to get more engaging and deeper as the series progresses. Coming in at number 6, we have Knights and Magic. The series is basically a cross between a mecha anime and a fantasy-styled magic anime. The story follows Ernesti, who used to be a die-hard otaku, until he suddenly dies and ends up reincarnating in a world where magic and robots are commonplace. Eager to build and pilot his own mecha, he joins the academy and quickly begins making waves with his wild new mech designs. Honestly speaking, the story's not all that great, but the entire show is single-handedly carried forward by the main character's love of robots. Certainly, there are some things I personally enjoyed in this series. For example, the magic mechas is an interesting twist, and I loved how they equated magic into programming. The enjoyment I get from watching this anime is really unexpected. It's definitely not the best anime out there, but it's something to watch. Let's be honest, the main character is the best thing this show has to offer. His character design, voice, and how the story revolves around him is what really makes this anime more entertaining. Overall, this series has many flaws. I mean, so many flaws, but it makes up for that with its passion. Coming in at number 5, we have Grimoire of Zero. When an anime title contains the word grimoire, you know you're in for some serious fighting, magic, and mayhem. It's like a shortcut to genre identification, which is useful in many situations. This anime, on the other hand, is set in a world where witches and sorcery are real. The plot revolves around a mercenary who is half man and half beast who wants to be fully human one day. His desires now seem possible when he meets a young witch Zero who promises him a solution if he escorts her across the land in order to find a lost book that, if in the wrong hands, could unleash havoc. Despite being a fantasy story, the anime never becomes complex, nor does it introduce a bunch of unnecessary characters, so you can just sit back and enjoy it. Although many characters in the series are never given true names, they are not lacking in personality. Each one is unique and has their own ideas of how they want the world to be. The interaction between the two is really moving and funny, and tells much about their past and personalities. Overall, as a character-driven fantasy, Grimoire of Zero is a fun and intriguing ride. It portrays the setting as well as a strong connection of the characters beautifully. Coming in at number 4, we have Problem Children Are Coming from Another World, Aren't They? Longer anime titles appear to be a trend these days, and this show follows suit. The anime tells the story of 3 children with exceptional talents who are transferred to another world. Their lives have always been monotonous, therefore they are delighted at the chance to visit Little Garden. It's a world where the people take part in numerous gift games, in which you and your opponent place bets. The kids soon agreed to join a small and weak community to go against the more powerful ones. They plan on winning every game and soon make their community grow. The story itself is served in a rather fast-paced way, so fast that even yourself might not catch up. Nonetheless, it is never dull. Every episode contains something new and unexpected. The only thing that bothers me about the series is that it only has 10 episodes. It offers little room for character development and diving deeply into the story. However, considering the great animation, interesting story, likable characters, and overall positive response for this anime, there is still a hope for a second season in the future. I personally don't regret those times I spent watching this anime. To tell you frankly, I even rewatched it. Why? Because, it's so awesome. Coming in at number 3, we have Garo the Animation. Set in medieval times in the country of Valiante, the magic users, also known as Makai Order, are under a terrible crisis as they are viewed by the church as agents of the devil for their use of magic. To that end, the evil royal advisor Mendoza has convinced the king to hunt and kill all users and priests who set foot in this land. Amidst all this chaos, a young Makai Knight, aka our protagonist, returns to the kingdom, donning the title of the Golden Knight Garo. Medieval fantasy is a very good setting for anime, but Garo's Spanish Inquisition flavor offers it a distinct personality all its own. Furthermore, the show is more similar to classic adventure serial storytelling than to regular manga or light novel styles. Garo the Animation is a truly unique ride. It succeeds in transporting viewers to a much more European setting. Of course, there are some bizarre side stories here that you can take or leave, but what they do is contribute to the further development of this very unusual Garo universe. I believe the characters in the series are what makes this anime so easy to watch. Even minor characters play heavy roles in this anime, and somehow you get attached to them. Overall, Garo the Animation is a bit of a slow burner to begin with, but if you get past those early episodes and the often weird animation, then you'll be rewarded with one of the best character-driven anime. Coming in at number 2, we have 07 Ghost. I don't go into anime with a lot of hopes. If it's good, it's good. If something is awful, it is awful. However, this anime turned out to be much more than just good. 07 Ghost is set in a gothically designed fantasy world and follows Tato Klein, an orphaned slave. It follows him from his escape from a prestigious military academy to a mystery chapel where he invokes the sanctuary laws. We observe as he tries to uncover truths from his past. Even if we don't see the great battle between him and the antagonist, there is plenty of story and character development. Now, if we talk about the plot, it is alright, although it's kind of a slow pace. I do enjoy every moment. Why? Because the traces of evidence from the mysteries are disclosed one by one as the clock ticks. Depending on your preferences, there is something for everyone. Also, there is quite a bit of, what shall I call it? A bromance maybe? But it's not what you think, for sure. It's more about brotherly love. This anime is like a philosophical tunnel of good things. Despite the lack of romantic overtones, I believe it wonderfully captures the bittersweet nature of true friendship. All in all, I would say this anime is great, but I must warn you, it's kind of a complicated story, but really worth watching.
続きまして理事長挨拶よっちきまお魔王って悪魔の王イルマくんおじいちゃんだよ理事長だったイルマ理事長に孫がそうなんですよ
Coming in at number 1, we have Welcome to Demon School. Can you imagine being sold by your parents only to be adopted and spoiled by a demon? Well, why would you, when you can experience it through Iruma's innocent eyes? He's a 14-year-old boy whose irresponsible parents sell his soul to a devil named Sullivan. Our worried protagonist, who accepts a terrible fate, finds out that all Sullivan wanted to do was adopt him as a grandchild and pamper him completely. However, his life is not without difficulties. Iruma, as the grandson of one of the most powerful demons, is now required to attend Babel's, a demon school. Okay, I want to take this off my mind first. Welcome to Demon School. Iruma-kun is the show that has surprised me the most. I must admit that I was hooked on this show from the first episode. Just like its characters, it continued to develop and evolve its story until we're now at the point where I'll proudly declare this one of my favorite anime of the last few seasons. What popped out to me throughout the show was the 90s anime look. I highly recommend this anime to those who are just starting to watch anime and even veteran weebs. It's also a very calming anime with plenty of comedy, some action, and a story progression that leaves you on the edge of your seat. That brings us to the end of our list for today. If you liked the video, please consider dropping a like and subscribing to our channel. In the end, you all stay happy, and I will see you in the next video. See ya!